Look. City eyes. It's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga, cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shot in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation voltage and fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times 2. Ain't no more heart in this game on John Q. Colder than the avalanche, way above average. My friends taste sweet, told them make me an apple crisp. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Java, come on, man. Dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evans to a mall quad. Telling me how them crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Poker stop, nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Let my light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no tangent. Try to warn them niggas, we bear arms like tarantulas. Them other niggas rap, I make anthems. I really seen prophets under this banner. Made my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty Diana. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo. Spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Wardo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Hate me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Ride around with Yara down, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone never since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, yeah.
Full shit, you know what I mean? Busy man. Look, when that shit drop, you step all the way on their neck, step on their neck and their head with that shit.
Fine then, I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it, got it out the mud, straight to glory. They don't know how I did it, he nice but he don't show them skills, how I show them skills. He ride but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. They mad, I'm too solid, circle tight, yeah, vacuum seal. No, they want my life, I ain't worried, I got rank for real. I got real soldiers, kill for me, nigga, watch yourself. They say you been in beast mode lately, you is not yourself. When you dropping that fire, precious marriage, they inquiring. They can't stop what's coming, but I see them conspiring. Cross the line, them firing. This bitch here, finna break the spin. No kindness, I don't trust you, circle small. You can keep your features. Me and my niggas don't keep no secrets. In the field like Jeepers Creepers. Say they want some smoke, dawg. So I brought these chimney sweeps. Coming like we coming, you can't even cap. These niggas don't run it like we running, bitch. Don't even start. Bitch, I'm with my niggas.
this room is 5.
Shalom, Yahweh Bashem Yashai Barakathum to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemar Lathum Bashem Yashai to all the sisters. This is the I.S.U.P.K Canada Sabbath service. We're going to open it up. I'm priest and officer 1000, Zabadra Ban Ban Yanyan, Ban Yashahala. La Yashala, which means to Israel. We're going to open up the Sabbath service with our prayers. Men of Israel, Aquathians, I imagine, which means to stand. Sarapanya HaKodam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to open up the Sabbath service with the Lord's Prayer. You can find it in Matthew 6, verses 8 to 13. We're going to read it in the traditional Hebrew and then break it down into English. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayam, Kudash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayam, Lathananawa, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabwaknawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabwakinawa, Wala'ah, Tabayanawa, Banisayawan, Abal, Harshinawa, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wahala, Wahathapara, La'ai Walanyam, Amam. In English, what we just read. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever so be it. Amen. Salakia, forever so be it. We're going to read the prayer for power. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ukasha, Lathananawa, Haka, Larapa'ah, Kamakala, Wakamadawa, Haka, Latahar, Hamatazarayan, Haka, Lahakwayam, Hamathayam, Haka, Awakawa, Hatama'ala, Lagarsham, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Thawada Aman. Lord, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power to go against, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it. We're going to read Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Al-Damayah, Laka, Al-Thakarash, Wa-Al-Thakwashat, Al-Kaya, Hana, Wa-Al-Yak, Salakia, Al-Yabyaka, Yahama Yawan, Wa-Mashanayaka, Nasha'awa, Ra'ash, Al-Amaka, Ya'ira, Yamwa, Sawad, Wa-Ya, Thaya Aitazawa, Al-Tazapawan, Yaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Waka Naka Yadam, Magaya, Wala'ah, Yazakar, Sham Yasha'ala, Iwad, Yaka, Nawa Aitazawa, La, Yakadwa, Al-Yaka, Bar-Yah, Yakarath, Salakia, Yakarath, Wa, Ahaliah, Adawam, Wayah Shemai, Alayam, Mawa'aba, Wahagariam, Gabal, Wa'amawan, Wa'amalat, Palashath, I'm Yeshabia, Tazawar, Gam Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zarawai, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Kamadian, Kasa Yasara'a, Kayab Yan, Banakal, Kwayash Wan, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayathamwa, Nariyab Mawa, Kaira, Waka Azaba, Waka Taza Manai, Ka Nasaya Kamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Naya Ra'ashu, Salakia, Naya Ra'ash, Lanawa, Na'athwath, Alahaya, Shayathamwa, Kagalga'a, Kakwash, Lapanya Raka, Ka'ash, Thaba'ira, Ya'ira, Waka Lahaba, Thalahat, Haya, Khan, Tharadatma, Basa'ira Ka, Waba, Sawafpath Ka, Thabahalam, Mala'ah, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Wiya Bukwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Wiya Bahawa, Ijai, Wayaka Salakia, Wayakaparwa, Waya Abadwa, Waya Da'aiwa, Kaya, Atha, Shamka Yahawa, Labarka, Al-Yuwan, Al-Ka Ha'arataza. What we read in English. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, and the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin at the brook of Kisan, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zeb, yea, all their princes as Zabah, and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid of thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. The prayer for power structure. Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yasha Salakia, Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Wa Mayet Ka'ala, Wa Alahayim, Matazabia, Alawap Yohana, Halawapia, Ha Saranyam, Ha Kotazayanyam, Ha Kayayam, Ha Guafiam, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Thawada Aman. In English, what we just read. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, Commander General Yohanna, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. In the name of Yahweh Shai, Salakia, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Ahaharia, Maryan, Yaba, Isaiah, Ma'an, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Waratazah, Al-Yanathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tizalka, Al-Yad, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'a, Yakaka, Wayrat, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makarai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazaavka, Wabawaatka, Ma'aifa, I will in English, what we just read. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help comes from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keep thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Bless Israel. Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Barak Lanawa, Yasha'ala, Wahabayasuparia, Ba'asham, Yahweh, Yahushai, Thuwalaman. Lord, in the name of Yahushai, bless us and Israel and the school. In the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. Men of Israel, Akwafim, Sar, which means to turn, you may be seated. All right, so we're going to be picking up where we left off last week. So, okay, can you get me a bottle of water? The water. All right, so we're going to be picking off where we left off last week, where we will be reading. We're in Genesis 41. Oh, Salakia. So we're in Genesis 41, Genesis 41, verse 6. That's what we're going to start reading in the Hebrew. Bear with us one moment. All right, so we're going to read in Genesis 41, verses 6 to 13. Bear with us one quick moment. All right, so we got Genesis 41 verses 6. YAHANNA Shabbat Shabalayam Dekwa Wath Washa da Salakia Washa da Wapath Kwadayam Taza Maka Wath Aka Akar, Yahanna. Verse 7. Watha bala aina. Hasha ba. So okay, let me just catch where I was. Hada Kawath Ath Shabbai Hasha Balayam Haba Raya Awath Waha Mala Awath Waya Yakwa Taza Para Ayha Waha Na Kala Wam. Verse 8. Waya Haya Baba Bakwar Watha Pa'ain Rawa Kwa Wayash Shalak Wayash Lak Waya Kora'a Ma Kora Ain Salakia Kora Ta Maya Mataza Rayam Wa'ath Malak Kama Salakia Ka Mayaha Waya Par Salakia Waya Sapar Para Iha Laham Kala Mawa Wa'a Yan Pawa Para Thar Salakia Pawath Ra Awa Thumb Lapa Ra'ain Iha. Verse 9. Waya Dabar Shar Hama Shakwa Yam Para Iha Lamar Kata Aya Anaya Salakia Maza Kayar Hayawam. Verse 10. Para Iha Kwatazapa Iba Diyawa Waya Than Athaya Bama Shamar Maya Shar Hata Kayam Athaya Wa'ath Shar Ha'a Payam. Verse 11. Wana Kalam Ha Salakia Wana Kala Ma Kala Wam Bala Yala Akkad Anaya Wa'a Ayash Kapa Thara One. Look, Salaki. Kalam wa. Kala manawa. Verse 12. Washam. Atha nawa. Naara. Iba Riyah. Ibad. Lashar. Hatab Kayam. Wana Sapar. La. Wayapar. Thara. La. The Naw. Laka. Salakia. Kalam. The Yanawa. Ayash. Kaka. Kat Lamawa. Patha. Verse 13. Waya Haya. Kasha. Pathra. Lanawa. Khan. Haya. Athaya. Hasha. Ya. Kanya. Wa'a. Thawa. Thala. All right, so what we read was Genesis 41, verses 6 to 13 in the Hebrew. Now we're going to read it in the English. And behold, seven thine ears was blasted with the east wind, sprang up after them. Salakia. Sorry for bear with me. Salakia. All right, so what were we reading? So what we're reading basically is David, Salakia, Joseph, he's going to interpret a dream for Pharaoh, right? As he did for the chief butler and the chief baker, right? And seven thin ears devoured the seven rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. Right? So now Pharaoh's reading this dream, and Salakia, Pharaoh's having this dream, and he doesn't know what this dream is about, right? For a lot of people who have dreams, they don't have an understanding of what their dreams mean, right? There are people who will sell you a book that says it can interpret any dream you're having, right? And people, they're basically frauding people. They figured out how to make money off people who just believe anything they're told, right? It's like people who go and wake up every day and rush to a newspaper or magazine to see some horoscope, right? They'll just believe anything they're told, right? But Pharaoh, he was having this dream and he didn't know what it meant. In the I.S.U.P.K, if you have a dream and you have no understanding of what the dream means, you would go to your camp leader, right? Ask your camp leader. Your camp leader will take the dream and he'll go to someone who can interpret dreams, right? someone who can interpret the dream for us. Is that we have men who have the spirit of the Lord in our school who are able to have understanding on what this dream is. Is this really a dream? Is this a prophecy? What is this? Is it just something in your subconscious? Right? A lot of times dreams are just your subconscious, right? And sometimes the Most High might speak to you in a dream, but you should always go to a man of the Lord to interpret that dream, right? You don't want to lean on your own understanding. Like when you lean on your own understanding, yeah, you have fake Israelites who say, listen, it's okay for me to have dreads because the East Indians did it. Or like I had someone who told me, I can have dreads because it's Egyptian culture. I said, wait, aren't you Israelite? Right? So then they say, yeah. I said, so that means you're an Old Testament Israelite that doesn't even follow the Old Testament. But that's neither here nor there. Right? So let's get back into it. Verse 8. And this is Genesis 41, verse 8. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled. And he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt. Right? Again, this is what happens a lot of times for Israel. We'll go to speak to somebody who we believe could read tarot cards, right? We'll believe they can read tarot, or we'll go to someone who says they can speak to the dead, right? Saul tried to speak to the dead, and that did not work out for him. He tried to speak to Samuel after he had passed on and gave up the ghost, and that just led further into his destruction. And all the wise men there of Egypt, and all the wise men thereof. Pharaoh went to speak to a lot of wise people, right? And he didn't get the answers. Listen, sometimes the people you think are wise are slow. They're not wise, right? Like a lot of brothers and sisters be in that Christian church thinking they're wise. The pastor got you celebrating Christmas and eating pork. He's not wise. Those pastors and so-called leaders are dumb dogs, right? Pharaoh's gonna find this out right now. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that can interpret them unto Pharaoh. Right? Verse 9. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Verse 10. Right? Because okay, so the butler, he remembered what Joseph had told him, like, yo, when you get back into your proper place, remember me. And the butler, he didn't remember it for him for 2 years. But at this moment, he chose to remember. Verse 10. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants and put me in ward. Right? Pharaoh was wroth with the butler and he put him in jail. And that's what that's talking about. And the captain of the guards held both me and the chief baker. Verse 11. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. Verse 12. And there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. All right. So he's remembering what it was like to be in that captivity, right? To be in the captain's house, right? And he said, me and the baker, we had a dream, and we had to go to a young Hebrew, right? A young Israelite to figure out what this dream meant. So that's what he's telling Pharaoh. To each man according to his dream did he interpret. And it came to pass, right? So when Joseph was interpreting a dream, both men had a dream. One man had a dream that he was going to basically be pouring wine back into Pharaoh's cup. The other had a dream that birds would eat bread from his head. And Joseph interpreted the dream. Joseph told them that one of you guys is going to die, right? And one of you guys is going to be given back your office, back your duties. And as he dreamt it, that's what happened on Pharaoh's birthday, right? Pharaoh, on his birthday, he killed the baker, right? Salakia. Let me just remember. Get that right. He killed the baker and he raised back up the chief butler back to his duty. Verse 13. And it came to pass as he interpreted to us, so it was. He's telling them, like, we had this dream, we went to him, right? A man of the Lord, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do. You should always go to the man of the Lord. He went to the man of the Lord to figure out what the dream meant. And the man of the Lord told him exactly what the dream was. So Genesis 41, verse 13. And it came to pass as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Right. So as Joseph interpreted the dream, that's exactly what happened. Right. Joseph had no dealings with Pharaoh at this time. He didn't know that Pharaoh was going to do this, but he was given the power to interpret these dreams. It's the same thing as when Joseph was younger. He told his brothers and sisters that, listen, y'all are gonna have to hold me up high and revere me one day. He told his brothers that. He told his father and his mother. His father checked him, right? His brothers mistreated him because they didn't like that, right? His brothers didn't have brotherhood, right? And as we read, you're going to find out that his brothers are going to have to do exactly what Joseph read in the dream. All right, so we're going to go back. We're going to read verses 14 to 20 in the Hebrew, right? We're in Genesis. We're in Genesis 41, so we're going to read verses 14 to 20 in the Hebrew and break that down. Right, and it's just you can see that okay, as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we should always stick with the Lord, right? Because in this story, you're finding out that with the Lord, even though your days might seem dark, the Lord, when the Lord is with you, He'll take you out of horrible times, right? Even in this situation right here, you're finding out that Joseph didn't have to do anything but do exactly what the Lord told him to do. Keep his faith, right? Keep the law, right? Joseph not wanting to be an adulterer, right? Or a whoremonger. He chose not to sleep with another man's woman. He got thrown into jail, right? For keeping his faith, the Lord eventually raised him up to be the second viceroy of Egypt, right? Second to the king. And that's what we're going to find out as we read more. All right, so I'm going to read Genesis 41, verses 14 to 7 in the Hebrew. Then we're going to come back and break it down in the English. All right, so give me one moment. Damn, I got to find my spot again. Give me one moment. Bear with me one moment. All right, so we're going to read. I got to find it again. Bear with me one moment. Genesis 41, verses 14 to 20. Genesis 41, verses 14. Verse 14. Wayash lak. Salakia. Wayasha lak. Para aha. Waya kura'a. Ah. Yawsa. Waya parya tiza hawa. Mana or man. Salakia. Man. Habawar. Waya galak. Salakia. Wayag wayalak. Waya kalak. Shema, Shemala, the Yawah. Wiyah Ba'a, Allah. Para Aha, verse 15. Waya Amar. Para Aha, La'a. Yawsa. Kalawam. Kalama, Thaya. Upar, Thara. Ayan. Athawa. Bear with me one moment. Salakia. Athawa. Wa'anaya. Shemai Aithaya. Ayla Yam. La'a Mar. Thasha Ma'ai. Kala Wam. La Pa Thara. Athawa. Verse 16. Waya Ain. Yawa Sa Yawsa. Para Iha. Lamar. Bala Idaya. Alahayim. Ya'ai Na. Shalom. Salakia. Para Iha. Verse 17. Waya Dabar. Para Iha. Al. Yawsa. Baka Lamya. Hana Naya. Aidam. Al. Shapath. Haya Ara. Verse 18. Waha Na'a. Man. Haya Ra'a. Ailath. Shaba'ai. Para Wath. Bara Ya Awath. Bashar. Waya Path. Tha'ara. Watha Ra'ai Yana. Ba'a Kawa. 19. Verse 19. This is Genesis 41, verse 19. Wahana Shaba'ai Rapa Para Wath. Akar Wath. Ayla Salakia. Ayla Wath. Ayla Wath. Kara Yahan. Dala Wath. Ra'ai Wath. Tha'ara. Ma'ad. Rawa Kwa. Bashar. La'a. Ra'a. Yathai. Salakia. Ra'a Yathai. Kaha Naha. Baka. Arataza. Matazah Rayam, La Ra'ai, verse 20. Watha Salakia. Watha Ama Aka Lana. Hapara Wath. Habra Kwath. Waha Ra'ai Wath. Ath. Shabbai. Hapara Wath. Hara Asha Nawath. Habara Ya'ath. All right, so now we're going to break down what we just read in the English. So again, we're in Genesis 41. This is the 14th verse, and we're going to read 7 verses to 20. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him, Salakia, hastily out of the dungeon, right? So the Pharaoh, he called on all of his men, right? All of his sorcerers, the people who used to lie to him and say they could do magic, the people who thought they had some type of power, and none could interpret the dream, right? What's that telling you? There is no power outside of whatever the Most High has set to be the power in the earth, right? Unless it's ordained by the Most High, it is nothing. It's going to come to naught. Oh, look at the church. Look at the Christian church, right? The Christian church, the Most High sent COVID to put the earth at rest, right? Just to give the Israelites, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans some type of rest, because if not, we would have been worked to death. That's what they've been doing for the last thousands of years. They've been working Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to death. The Most High, he sent COVID to shut down the earth for a second, and the Christian church was nowhere to be seen. Christian churches were forced to go online. The I.S.U.P.K, if there was a school in a city where the I.S.U.P.K is, where they have a physical school, those school doors were open, right? Pharaoh went and got a man of the Lord quickly, because that's what they needed to do, because outside of whatever the Lord is doing, nothing works, right? If it's not of the Lord, it does not work at all. Again, look at the Christian church. Look at a city like Philadelphia. In a city like Philadelphia, where you have the NOI or the FOI, or whatever them bow tie Negroes be calling themselves, right? It is not working. A city like Philadelphia, it's supposed to be a Muslim city. Do you know who the Muslims are? Everybody's shooting up the block. The Muslims are the drug dealers, right? A city like Philadelphia has countless of murders, because it's not of the Most High. It's going to come to naught. It's not going to work. But here, Pharaoh went and got a man of the Lord. That's what you need to do. Go find the men of the Lord, and they're in the I.S.U.P.K in every city you can think of, or in damn near every country where we are. You'll find a man of the Lord. And brought him hastily out of the dungeon. Again, we're in Genesis 41, verse 14. And he shaved himself. Now, listen, as you read, you're going to find out, right? We're not supposed to shave. Like, if you even look at myself, right? I'm a man of the Lord. Now, my facial hair doesn't grow in fully, like a full-grown beard, right? I'm trying to get there. Lord Allah, I get there. I got some oils. I'll be putting that on my face. I'll be trying to get my beard to fully grow in. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it's whatever nature intended, right? But Joseph, he had to shave to go meet Pharaoh, because the pharaohs and the Egyptians, they believed in shaving. That's where you get that bald headed from. Someone told me that braids is Egyptian culture. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I gotta put this down. Let me 1 second. Let me highlight this, because I'm gonna need this for later. They told me braids is Egyptian culture. The pharaohs, they shaved themselves because they didn't like hair, right? That's why you see there's a brother. He's supposed to be of the house of consciousness, which is the house of unconsciousness. He calls himself Shaka Atmos. He shaves his head off and leaves some weird gay ponytail, right? Because he says that's Egyptian culture. They never had braids like blacks, Hispanics, like myself. Like my hair is braided right now. If you can see it, my hair is braided, right? The Egyptians didn't do that. I got facial hair. The Egyptians would want me to cut off my facial hair. And he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. Because again, nothing that is not of the Lord is going to work. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. Verse 16. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Right? Because that's what happens, right? Again, the Lord gives Joseph the power. The Lord gave Yahushua the power. The Lord gave any prophet that you see, he gives us the power. If you wonder why the I.S.U.P.K is able to go outside in the midst of hordes of heathens, stand up and tell the oppressor that he's the devil the Bible speaks of, right? And get boot kisses and have oppressors bow down to us without having to physically threaten them, threaten their lives, right? If you wonder how a group of 8 men under Captain Kapash in Kentucky can go to war with tens of brothers, right? Go to war with brothers and sisters trying to kill them and come out victorious, is because of the Lord, right? Give a hand to that Kentucky 8, right? That Kentucky 8, good night. This is things legends are made of. Salakia. Verse 17. Genesis 41:17. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, in my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 kin, fat flesh, and well favored, and they fed in the meadow. So Pharaoh's telling him his dream. Listen, I'm dreaming 7 female cows came up. They were healthy cows, and they were feeding and eating and doing what cows do. Verse 18. And behold, they came up out of the river 7 kin, fat flesh, and well favored, and they fed in the meadow. Verse 19. And behold, 7 other kin came up after them, poor and very ill favored. Right? So he's letting no, listen, out of that river, right? 7 healthy female cows came up, then 7 ill cows came up, right? And he's having a dream that he just can't understand. He's trying to see what the hell is going on. And to a man who thinks he runs the world, right? This is something scary to him, because he didn't understand what the hell was going on. He was so petrified that he needed someone to break it down. And all of his liars couldn't do that for him. Poor and very ill favored and lean flesh, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. Right? So he's saying he's never seen this before. This is something he's never seen in a dream. He's never seen it in real life. Right? Because at that time, Egypt was a superpower. They didn't have famines. They were rich. Everyone was going to Egypt. Egypt is damn near America today. Back then, that's what Egypt is. If you weren't trying to get an understanding of what Egypt looked like, just look to America today. America is a rich nation. Everyone goes there for commerce. Everyone goes to deal with America for strength, or they look to America like this is the greatest nation on earth, right? America could only be the greatest nation on earth right now because they have the greatest people in earth in captivity, right? That's so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Verse 20, Genesis 41, verse 20. And the lean and the ill-favored king did eat up the first 7 fat kin. And he's breaking down his dream. He's like, listen, the sick cows ate the fat ones. They ate the healthy cows, and he's trying to get an understanding. He has no understanding because the Lord was not with Pharaoh. Just like, look at Canada. You look at Canada's government structure, right? They have no understanding of what the hell is going on in their own country or how to stop the violence or the drug use or the murder in their own country because they have no understanding and the Lord is not with them, right? The Lord is definitely not with a people who decided to murder the Lord's chosen people, right? Our Lord, our power is a just power, right? This is why you see what you see happening in Canada. This is why you can look throughout Canada and there's famine and there's famine and what else was happening? Even a couple years ago in Northern Ontario, we had forest fires, right? Tearing through Ontario is something that's never really been seen. Forest fires tearing through Ontario. And you look into America, there's a dust ball where they say they don't really get rain and they have to artificially make clouds rain. It's because it's not with the Lord. Like these powers aren't with the Lord. They're not with what the Most High wants because they keep torturing so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If you're Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you've lived a horrible life in these countries. You've lived a horrible oppression here, right? You don't get to listen. We did a story not too long ago, right, about police officers getting shot, right? And before we broke into that part of the story, we went through all the stories of police officers just shooting and killing so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native American. There's a Gadite sister who was shot in the back, right, by Canadian police. And you know what her mistake was? She called Canadian police asking for help. Another brother was murdered in Ontario. He called the police in Ontario, in Brampton, for help, and they killed him. The Lord is not with Canada. Just like the Lord is not with Pharaoh, right? The Lord wasn't with Pharaoh because the heathens are inherently evil. Just look at everything they've done to you, right? So we're going to read 21 to 21 to 7, 21 to verse 7 in the Hebrew, and we're going to go break that down. Right, so we're going to read Genesis 41:21 in the Hebrew to verse 27. Then we're going to break it down. Watha ba'a naka la kara bana wala'a ha salakia nawa da'ai kaya ba'awa Allah kara banaha wa ra'a YAHANNA Ra'i Ka'ashar Batha Kala Wa'a Yakwataza. Verse 22. Wa'a Ra'a Buka Lamaya Wahana Shaba'i Shabalayam Allah Bakwa Na Akad Salakia Mala Wata Wataba Wath. Verse 23. Waha na Shaba'i Shabalayam Tiza Namawath Kwada Wath Shada Pawath Kwadayam Tiza Maka Wath Akara Riyaham verse 24. Again, we're in Genesis 41, verse 24. Watha bala ayin. Wa Salakia. Hasha balayam. Hada kwa Shabbai. Hasha balayam. Hata bawaf. Wa mar Allah. Haka ra'ayin. Yam. Yan. Mga yad. Laya. Verse 25. Uya Amar. Bear with me one moment.
Your testimony.
Bear with me one moment, Baba Kasha. All right, we're back. The water, if you're bearing with me for the moment. So we're in Genesis 41, verse 25. We're reading to 27, right? Verse 25. Waya Amar. Yawasap. La. Para Aha. Kala Wan. Para Aha. Akai. Hawa'a. Asha. Alahai. Alahayim. Aisha. Hagar. Yada. The power I. Verse 26. Shabbai. Para. Hata Bath. Shabbai. Shanayam. Hana. What Shabbai? Hasha Balayam. Hata Bath. Shabbai. Shanayam. Hana. Kala Wam. Akar. Hawa'a. Verse 27. Shabbai. Hapara. Wa. Hara. Kawath. Waha Ra'aith. Ha'ai La. Aka Ra Yahan. Shabbatai, Shana Yam, Hana, Washabai, Hasha, Bala Yam, Hara Kwa Wath, Shada Pawath, Hakwa the Yam, Yahweh, Shabbatai, Shanaya, Ra'ai, Slovakia. All right, so we read in Genesis 41. We read from 21 to 27. So we're going to read that and break that down real quick. Right. And again, this is the I.S.U.P.K. where you get the correct breakdowns, right? The things you're going to hear here is the things your Christian pastor will never want to talk about, right? Like your Christian pastor, if he was wise, he would have been told you, right? You wouldn't even have had to heard it from Kanye, right? For brothers and sisters in the world, they're hearing Kanye speak right now, and they're like, "What the hell is this man talking about?" They don't understand what he's talking about. And here, if you understood or you were listening, right? We've been saying the same thing since 1969. The Jews are black. There are people who were claiming to be Jew who aren't Jews. They're the synagogue of Satan. You would have heard that already. We've been saying that since 1969. Right? But because your Christian pastor has no truth into him, the things you're hearing now, it seems like these men are crazy. People think Kanye West is crazy, right? He might be a little off, right? But what he's saying is the absolute truth. The Jews are black, and there are people who are devouring us, people who make money off our death and destruction, people who are saying, listen, why don't we get them to rap about the things that are killing them? You don't see them pushing the Jewish kids to rap about drugs and murder. They look at us when we say a black woman should only sleep with a black, Hispanic, or Native American man, or a Native American woman should only speak with a black, Hispanic, or Native American man. They look at us like we're crazy, right? Italians tell their children, listen, you can only bring home an Italian man. The children of Amalek, the people who claim to be Jewish, right? They tell them they can only bring home a Jewish man or woman, but they're not considered a hate group. In the I.S.U.P.K, we tell blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, keep it in the family, right? You don't need to be going outside. All right, let's get it. Where were we? So this is Genesis 21. This is Genesis. This is Genesis 41, verse 21. And when they had eaten up it, could not be known. All right, so he's saying, listen, look, them cows, the skinny cows ate the fat cows, and you couldn't even tell. You would have figured they got fatter, but they didn't. They just ate them up. What does it mean? He's trying to understand what it means because it's scary to him. He said, I've never seen this before. Especially, you got to think about in the mind of a carnal person. They see something and they don't understand what the hell is going on. They start freaking out. They start, damn, what is going on? Why am I seeing this? I don't understand. And here we just go to the man above us. Listen, sir, I had this dream. Can you help me figure it out? Man above you, listen to the dream and say, listen, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. They'll say, all right, this is what you need to do. That's what wise counsel does. Pharaoh, he's going for wise counsel right now. He's going to a man of the Lord. If you're black, Hispanic, and Native American, turn to a man of the Lord for counsel. That's what you need to do. Slovakia. Right. Salakia. Where are we? So again, in verse 21, in Genesis 41, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored, as at the beginning. So I awoke. Pharaoh jumped out of his dream. Like, damn, what the hell is going on? Like, okay, I'm going to break it down to you like this. Have you ever seen a basketball commercial where D. Wade was dreaming about facing Kobe Bryant in the finals, right? And Kobe was just scoring on D. Wade. And D. Wade woke up out of his dream like, good night. He just woke up fast. Like, what's going on? This is a dream he didn't like, right? That's an excellent basketball commercial, right? Because Kobe was going to work on D. Wade in that commercial. Good night. Verse 22. And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 ears withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And he's talking about these corns, right? Now I imagine you all right. A lot of times this is something that happened in Texas. In Texas, or even in California, when they have the tribe of Issachar working in the orange fields, right? Picking oranges off the tree. Sometimes the tribe of Issachar, they'll get there. And the Lord sent a frost that devoured those oranges, right? A frost that came from nowhere, and it just devoured these oranges. That's what the Pharaoh's saying in his dream, right? And blasted them with a east wind sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears, and I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it unto me. He said, listen, I had this dream, and just horrible things are happening. I told my interpreters and the people who I look to for counsel, and no one can give me counsel on what was going on. So I'm coming to you because you're powerful. You're a man of the Lord, and I need counsel on it. Let's get back to it. Verse 25, Genesis 41, verse 25. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one God has showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. Right? So Joseph knew this. Joseph told Pharaoh, listen, what you're dreaming about right now, God is about to do to you. Good night. He's telling Pharaoh, the Lord is about to send you some plagues. Right? The Lord is about to do this. He's sending famine and destruction and pain onto the children of Egypt. Right? That's what he's telling them. The Lord is about to do this. Verse 26. The 7 good kin are 7 years, right? And the 7 good heirs are 7 years. And the dream is one. He's saying, listen, the dreams about the 7 cows and the 7 good heirs is one dream, right? He's breaking it down to it. The Lord was with Joseph, right? This is what's going to, because of this dream, Joseph is going to get power in a kingdom that hates Hebrews, in a kingdom that hates the shepherds. They look at us as disgusting. Even in the kingdom right now that we're in, right? They look at Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans like we're no good. You had Donald Trump say we're bad hombres. He called my Issacharite brothers rapists, right? He said the tribe of Levi, right? They're from a shithole country, Salakia, for my French, right? That's how they look at us. Verse 27. And the 7 thin and ill-flavored kin that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. Right? And now he got the interpretation. He's telling them, listen, you're going to have 7 good years. Right? And then after that, there's going to be 7 years of famine. 7 years of famine. That's what this dream means. Right? It's something Pharaoh didn't see. Right? He never seen famine in Egypt because there was no famine in Egypt. Egypt was a powerful, powerful kingdom, a powerful country. It's just like America, just like Canada, right? Just like the UK, where Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are, right? They haven't really seen famines like that, right? They're having a good time right now. COVID was a prelude to what's going to keep happening, right? School shootings are a prelude to what's going to keep happening in the countries that we live in the captivities that we're in right now. Right? Give me one moment. Right? So that's what's happening. It's just a prelude to what we're going through right now. So I'm going to read one more time. We're going to read 28. 28 to 34. Right? 28 to 34 in Genesis 41. And then we're going to break it down in the English. All right, so 28 to 34 in the Hebrew, and we're going to read it in the English. This is Genesis 41, 28. Hawa'ah, Hadabar, Ashar, Dabar, Thayah, Allah, Para'ah, Ashar, Alahayim, Aisha, Hara'aha, Para'aha, 29. Hana, Shaba'ai, Shinayam, Ba'wath, Shaba'ai, Gada Wala, Bawal, Arataza, Mataza Rayam. Wakama wa Shaba'ai, Shanaya, Ra'ai, Ka Riya Na, Wana Shaka, La, Hashaba'ai, Ba'arataza, Mataza Rayam, Waka La, Hara I, Harataza, 31. Wala Yawa Da'ai, Hasha Ba'ai, Habarataza, Mapan Naya, Hara'ai, Haka Wa'a, Eka Raya, Bana Maya, Salakia, Yakan, Kaya, Kabad, Hawa'a, Ma'ad, 32. Wa'al, Hasha Nawath, Hakal Wam, Allah, Para'ai, Pa'aim Yam, Kaya, Naka Wan, Hadabar, Ma'an, ha'alahayim. Wama mahar ha'alahayim. La'ai shawwa salakia. La'ai shafwa 33. Wa'ai thaha ar'a. Para'ai ha aliyah salakia ayash. Number 1. Waka kam Qayash Yatha Hawa Arataza Matazar Yam 34. Ya'ai Shaha Para'aha Waya Paquad. Salakia. Give me one moment. Paquada Yam Rataza Wuka Mash Arataza Matazar Rayam Basha Ba'ai Shanaya Hasha Ba'ai. All right, so we read 28 to 34. We're in Genesis 41. We read 28 to 34. All right, so now we're going to read it and we're going to break it down. This is going to be the last 7 verses that we read for our Sabbath service, and we're going to close out the Sabbath service. All right, so we're in Genesis 41, 28. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh, what God is about to do. He showeth unto Pharaoh. Right? So Joseph's telling him, listen, the Lord is about to do this thing to y'all. The Lord is about to give y'all 7 good years, and he's about to give y'all 7 bad years right after. No sweat. The I.S.U.P.K, we go out in the street corners and we do the same thing. We go out and tell Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and we go out and prophesy what's happening, what is about to happen. Before there was a war in the Ukraine, the men of the I.S.U.P.K were saying this is going to happen. There's going to be more war. You have Putin. Putin came up the other day and he said, listen, we're about to go into World War III. The men of the I.S.U.P.K have been telling you about the Third World War, right? The third major destruction that's going to happen inside the earth, right? It's just a prelude to our king coming back. It's a prelude to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans running the earth as we should be, right? Because who else would run the earth better than us, right? Who else is going to take care of the land better than us? We know that you got to let the land rest for a year, right? You farm the land for 6 years, you let that thing rest for a year, right? Even the land gets a rest period. When it comes to our oppressors do not want anybody to rest. They can have Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in slavery still. And I don't mean this because we're still enslaved right now. We're still enslaved right now, right? We make barely enough money to feed ourselves and house ourselves. And that's exactly what the slaves went through, right? But we're the ones telling you what's going to happen. If it was up to the oppressors right now, we'd be with chains on our neck. Right. Today's the Sabbath. Many brothers and sisters are being forced to work right now. They're at work right now being forced because they have to feed themselves. So let's get into it. Verse 29. Behold, there comes 7 years of great plenty. Right? He's saying, listen, there's going to be 7 years of good things happening, 7 years of prosperous living, right? 7 years of you're going to be making hella money. You're going to be having a good time for the next 7 years throughout all the land of Egypt. Verse 30. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, He said, after that 7 years, it's going to be horrible in Egypt. People are going to be crying out for food, and you won't be able to feed them. And this is what the Pharaoh's seen, because he never seen that before. You had Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt go to war with each other, and they became one great kingdom. A kingdom so great that they eventually, they're going to have the Israelites in captivity. Just like the Israelites are in captivity today. Salakia, priest, I'm teaching right now. All right, shalom. All right, let's get into it. Where were we? Verse 30. Genesis 41, verse 30. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land. Listen, after that 7 years, everyone's going to forget about how good Egypt was, how you could go and make money off Egypt. That's going to be forgotten. Nobody's going to remember it. Nobody's going to care, because it's going to be horrible living conditions. And the famine shall consume the land. 31. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. No one remembers. Like this is something you see in your everyday life. No one remembers the good that you do. The good that you do rarely gets spoken of, right? The bad is what everyone remembers. You could do good for 100 years and have one bad day and do one thing wrong, and no one remembers the 99 years of all the good you did, right? That one day out of that 99 or 100 years, they're going to remember that forever. Where are we? Genesis 41:32. And for that, the dream was doubled onto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. He's telling Pharaoh, listen, this thing, the Lord's going to do this thing. That's why you got the dream twice. You got the same dream twice, it just seemed a little different. But the Lord is going to do this. All right, and you just gotta know, Egypt was a horrible place. It's a disgusting place. You ask some Kemites right now, they'll tell you one of their gods raped another god. Right? They'll tell you that, and they'll be proud of it. They'll tell you one of their gods dismembered another god, and the god's wife that was dismembered, she found out of all the things she found his rod and had a baby with just the rod. Right? Egypt doesn't make sense. It sounds like whoredom. It sounds like homosexuality. Egypt is gay. Where were we? 33. Now therefore, let Pharaoh look out, a discreet and wise. Salakia. Verse 33. This is Genesis 41, verse 33. Now therefore, let Pharaoh look out a man, discreet and wise, right? And set him over the land of Egypt. This is if you're Black, Hispanic, and Native American, that answer speaks for itself, right? You want to find men who are discreet and wise and set them over you, right? I had a conversation with a brother the other day about leadership, and he said, "Listen, all right." He said, "Yahawashi is our king." I said, "I'm not going to disagree with you, right?" He said, "But y'all say Commanding General Yahanna, he's second to Christ." I say, "Listen, that's not what we say. We say Commanding General Yahanna is on earth right now, leading Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans until Christ gets here, right? Because if you don't have a righteous leader, you have the Christian church." right? And he said, okay, I gotta agree with you on that one. I said, yeah, just look at the Christian church. Look at the Christian church and its leadership and what Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans go through. The Christian church will tell Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, listen, you can celebrate Christmas, but I represent God. You can eat pork, but I represent God. And you're just like, what the hell are you talking about? The Christian church will tell men and women, listen, if it's not working out, y'all can leave each other. That's not what Christ said. Commander General YAHANNA said, you cannot leave that woman outside of her sleeping with another man. Commander General YAHANNA, listen, this is when I knew this is the most righteous place for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He said, you take that sister and all her problems are now yours. And you just can't get rid of her, right? And he broke it down like this. He said, you know why you can't get rid of her? Even if she blows up your car? Because you've damn near sinned against the Lord and you want the Lord to keep you. Have that same brotherhood and sisterhood for your brothers and sisters, right? You take on a wife and listen, she got a demon, but you took her. You got to keep her. She's now your property. She's now your responsibility. Fight her demons. Teach her how to fight her demons. And raise up Black families, because you want to just leave her because she didn't cook she burned your rice on the stove. Teach your sister how to cook. Right? Teach your sister how to cook so she doesn't burn the rice on the stove no more. What, you think you're just gonna go get another rib and leave her? No, you can go get another rib, but you gotta keep her too. And when she starts throwing your PlayStation out the window, you still have to keep her. You better call and get some counsel. Right? And that's why for all brothers and sisters, we tell you, you want a husband, sisters, y'all want a husband, get a man in the truth. Brothers, y'all want a wife or a rib man, y'all better make sure that sister's in the truth. Because once you have her, you can't let go of her. Right? And this is why you're supposed to seek out a wise man of the Lord. Right? And Joseph, he's telling Pharaoh, listen, seek out a wise and discreet man. That's a man of the UPK, right? And you're just gonna find out as you keep reading, you're gonna find out Pharaoh, he chose Joseph. He said, "Listen, I need a wise and discreet man to oversee what's going on in my kingdom. Let me get a man of the Lord, a man who had the interpretation from the Lord." Right? And that's to show you the Lord will put you in position. The Lord will set you up to be empowered. Right? And that's what he's done with the I.S.U.P.K. He set us up to be empowered. I guarantee you, if you let a man of the I.S.U.P.K, a priest and prophet in the I.S.U.P.K, under Commanding General YAHANNA, run your city, the problems in your city are going to slowly but surely cease to exist. Right? Because just look at all the men in the I.S.U.P.K. The problems they had in their life, they're not there no more because they're getting counsel. Now, that's not to say the Lord won't test you. The Lord is definitely going to test you, just like he did Job, because you're being viewed by the Lord now. You start to not sin. The Lord notices. He's like, oh, he's not sinning. Let me just watch him. Let me find out if he's going to sin. Let me put some problems in his life. Right? But we'll get more into that. Right? And just for anybody watching, right, we got class tonight. We're going to be breaking down Halloween, Samhain, so I mispronounced that. But we're going to be breaking down Halloween and how it's not of God. And listen, I was outside last night. I was outside trying to. I went to go see some friends and family, and good night. The spirit on Esau in this kingdom and the nations that follow him. I think every daughter of Esau was dressed up as a cat. And I'm like, what the hell are they dressed up as a cat as, right? But when you're looking at them, you're noticing that this is a cat. She's supposed to be a cat, and she's not dressed in anything, right? That the spirit that's on them is whoredom, right? And that's what the spirit of Halloween is. You're just gonna notice, right? There's gonna be shootings in your city tonight. Good night. They're having parties. There's gonna be shootings. There's gonna be murder. That's the spirit of death. You're going to see people just being mischievous, Salakia. Yeah, let's get more into this breakdown. This is the end of verse 33 in Genesis 41. And set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this. 34. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land to take up the fifth part of the land of Egypt. He's saying, listen, go out and set men up to go bring in the grain, bring in some money, bring in the food. We're gonna do this for 7 years so we can have food and grain and a reserve, right? Squirrel away some of that stuff. Just like how you see the squirrels do it just before winter comes. They be saving up whatever they're gonna eat throughout the winter. This is what Joseph is telling Pharaoh. Right? This is a man that was in the prisons, in the prison, right? A servant to the guard, the captain of the guards. He's now telling the king of Egypt what he needs to do to run his country. Right? In the 7 plenteous years. He's telling them, listen, not in the 7 years that you're gonna have a lot, save. Right? And this is Commanded YAHANNA, when COVID was starting to happen, right? And we noticed that these plagues are coming on the earth. What? There was orders given to all brothers and sisters to save and stock up on food and just a survival kit that you're gonna need. And as we seen, the food was flying off the shelves. Them devils, y'all remember this, right? Them devils started going crazy for toilet paper. I'm just like, why are they going so crazy for toilet paper? Right? They're acting like, oh my gosh, COVID's here. We're not going to have any toilet paper. I'm just like, do y'all devils live in the woods or something? Because, I might get a little graphic, but you guys how I think about it, right? And if you run out of toilet paper in your house, you have running water. You can just go take a shower and go wash your ass. Like, Salakia. I'm confused. These devils are going crazy. That's because they don't have wise people. Instead of stocking up canned goods, and let's look at it right now. The baby formula is off the shelf. And it's like, y'all are running to get the baby formula. Make your own baby food. You go get those peas and carrots and go boil the peas and carrots and mash it up. Blend it up, make your own baby food. But everyone's trying to get the Similac. And they're running into the stores and they're like, I had a brother in the world, right? He said, me and my rib, we were running around looking for baby food. I said, she don't breastfeed? Make your own baby food. And he's looking like he couldn't comprehend. Like, if the oppressor doesn't give me baby food, I can't feed this woman's baby. I just say, good night. Like, you need to get with the men of the Lord. But a lot of brothers, they don't want to do that. They want to live how they want to live. They want to learn on their own time, lean on their own understanding. Joseph didn't lean on his own understanding. He said it was from the Lord. And that's what he did. All right, so we're going to end right there. Next week, we'll pick it up from Genesis 41:35. Right, and we'll read 35 to 42 in Genesis. Right, and we'll continue breaking it down. So with that said, Khan says, hey, Sean says, yeah, you should have thought, Salakia, Yahweh Shema al-Thon ba'Hashem Yahushai. Right, tonight we'll be teaching class on this channel. We'll be breaking down Halloween and how evil it is to the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right, at 8 p.m. tonight. 8 p.m. every Saturday night, we have a scripture breakdown. Listen, this is where you want to be tonight. I'm not speaking to you, sis, but to all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You want to be in this class tonight. You do not want to be in the world with the demons. It's going to be a horrible thing, because for the brothers and sisters who are caught lacking, right, the devil, he follows the Lord. The Lord told the devil to go test people, and if you're caught lacking, there are spirits made for the day of evil. Today's an evil day. Don't find out how evil it is to not follow the Most High. A lot of brothers found out how evil it is to not follow the Most High. A lot of brothers were selling drugs. They're in jail right now. Right? They're in jail. A lot of brothers died for selling drugs. A lot of sisters were just giving their body to every and anybody. Good night. Them STDs and STIs are eating their bodies alive. A lot of brothers be taking a lot of different other women, right? Meaning they be sleeping with another brother's woman, and they got caught in that house and they died, right? Or they have some STD, some sexually transmitted disease that they can't get rid of. Good night. I'll just leave you with that. But again, tonight we're gonna be breaking down Halloween Saturday night on this same channel at 8 p.m. Right, let's get it. Let's get to it. Right. So with that said, men of Israel, Akwafian, right? Imagine, which means to stand. Sarapanya Hakodam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to pray to the east where Jerusalem is, where our kingdom is, right? And we're going to say the Lord's prayers as we close out the Sabbath service. Good night. All right. Let's get it in. All right, this is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, and then we're going to read it in the English. Abanawa, Shabash Mayam, Kudash, I.S.U.P.K, Yahweh, YAHANNA, Sabbath, Ratazaka, I.S.U.P.K, Barataza, Kawa, Hayar, Bashamayam, Lathamana, Lakam, Ka, Yawan, Wasalaknawa, Kawaknawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawakinawa, Wala, Tabayanawa, Wanasaiwan, Abba, Hashina, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Amalakwa, Salakia, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wa'ala, Wahafaparat, La'awalamya, Aman. What we read in English: Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Ahahaya, Mayan, Ya'ah, Isaiah, Ma'an, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayan, Wa'arataza, Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Ayanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yashan, Yashamar, Yasha, Salakia, Shalmar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazawaka, Al-Yad, Yamyanka, Yaramam, Hashamash, La'a, Yakaka, Wayra, Blayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makarai, Yashamar, Ashpapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazaafka, Wabawaaka, Ma'aitha, Wa'ai. I'll lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Bless Israel, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Barak Lanawa, Wa'yasha'ala, Wahabaya, Sapariyam, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Thuwaraman. Lord, in the name of Yahushai, bless us and Israel and the school in the name of Yahushai. Thank you, so be it. Hakah, the prayer for power. Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Babakasha, Lathalanawa, Hakah, La Pa'a, Kamakala, Kamadawa, Hakak, La Tahar, Hamatazarayan, Hakak, La Hakayam, Hathamayam, Hakak, Arakawa, Hatama'ala, Lagarsham, Basham, Yahushai, Thawaraman. Lord, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out in the name of Yahushai. Thank you, so be it. We're going to read Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Al-Damayah, Laka, Al-Thakarash, Wa Al-Thakushat, Al-Kaya, Hana, Awayabyaka, Hamayan Yawan, Wamashanayaka, Nasha'a, Ra'ash, Al-Amaka, Ya'ira Yawam, Salakia, Ya'ira Yawam, Sawad, Waya Thaya Itazawa, Altazapawan Yaka, Amara, Lakawa, Wana Kak Yadam, Magaya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yasha'ala, Iwad, Kaya, Nawa Itazawa, La, Yakadwa, Al Yakab, Baryaf, Yakarathwa, Ahalia, Adawam, Yashamai, Alayam, Ma'aba, Wahagariam, Gabal, Wa'amawan, Wa'amalat, Palash, and Yashabia, Tazawar, Gam Ashawar, Malawa, Imam, Haywa, Zarawai, Labanya, Labwat, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Kamaryan, Kayasara'a, Kayamyar, Banaka, Kwayashwan, Nashamadwa, Bayan, Dawa, Haywa, Daman, La Dama, Shayathamwa, Nada Yamawa, Kairab, Waka Za'aba, Waka Za'aba, Waka Taza Menan, Ka Nasayakam, Ashar, Amarwa, Naya Ra'ash, Lanawa, Na'athwa, Alahaya, Shaya, Salakia, Shayathamwa, Kagalga'a, Kakwash, Lapanya Ruka, Ka'ash, Thaba'ira, Ya'ira, Waka Lahaba, Thalahat, Haryam, Khan, Tharadatma, Basa'iraka, Waba, Sopathka, Thabahalam, Ma'ala, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Wayabukwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Aya'ai, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Da'aiwa, Kaya, Atha, Shamka Yahawa, Kabadwa, Al Yawan, Al Kaharataza. What we read in the English: Keep not thy silence, O God, hold not thy peace, be not still, O God, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, they have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For lo, they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites. As to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth, made their nobles like Oreb, and like Z, yea, and all their princes as Zabad and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as stubble before the wind, as fire burneth the wood, as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. We're going to say the prayer for power structure. Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Wa Maya Ka'ala, Wa Alahayim, Matazam Ya'ah, Alawap Yahanna, Ha Alawapyam, Ha Saranyam, Ha Kwatazayanyam, Ha Kayayam, Ha Gwafyam, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Thuaraman. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahanna, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. Men of Israel, Sar. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers, and then a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, I imagine Shabbat, I imagine Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai Barakatha, Yajimatah, which means hands down. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, I imagine Shabbat, I imagine Barak, Yahweh Shema Alatham Ba'ashem Al-Shai, Yajimatah. Men of Israel, Sabbath service is dismissed. Clap it up. For everybody that was tuning in. Again, 8 p.m. tonight, we'll be breaking down Halloween for our Sabbath scripture breakdown. Let's get it.